Hi, I'm Rigo Murillo. Welcome again to another episode of Contagious Leadership Podcast. It is 2023. We are starting a new season.
I can't believe it's the beginning of a new year.
Yeah, this is going to be great. So we wanted to kick this off hard. So we are bringing back Coach Kevin, and we're going to be getting into goal setting right away. And I'm sure it is a lot more than that. You always get more than you expect when you sit down with Coach Kevin. So don't go anywhere and get ready to learn some things and a couple freebies that we're going to be getting out for you to make sure that you impact your year in all areas of your life as best as possible. We'll be right back after this with Coach Kevin. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, Coach.
Welcome back.
All right. So happy to be here. It is 2023. Time to kick ass and take Nate. We said that in 2021. We said that in 2022. But 2023 is actually your year if you'll do the damn work. I will say, no matter what happened before, there were people who kicked ass and took checks in 2021, in 2022. So why not let it be you in 2023? And if you were one of those people, well done. Why not double, triple, quadruple down?
Love it. So I want to get right into this. Lorianne and I both have been excited about this. We've had the liberty of getting to have you on our show more than once. We like to call you our frequent flyers. We're working on a frequent flyer program, a couple more clicks and tickets. And we said that you'll get a free trip to nowhere, but you'll get it for free anyways. But no, we are so happy to have you back, Coach. So let's get into this. I mean, right away, let's hit it hard. And why don't you talk to us right away on how we're going to actually get to a place where we will achieve what we're looking for in our life? And what are these areas, Coach, that we want to look at?
So first things first, right? I don't care if I don't care how close to the beginning of the year we are. Like this year is fresh. It's in mint condition. We have not really screwed it up that much. And yet there are already millions of people who gave up on what they said they would be, what they said they would do. Like one day clicked and 1 million people were already off the train. Like they didn't really want what they wanted. The first things first, the first key element to getting what you want, to achieving your targets or outcomes inside of 2023 is knowing what you want. Right? So many people don't get what they want because they just have no idea what they want. They're not specific. They're like, well, what do you want? Right? Like that's the number one question. Like, what I ask people, what do you want? And there's this big, long, you've got to know what you want. You also have to absolutely, realistically, in truth, be able to say where you are. Without those two pieces of information, you're never going to get anywhere. You must know where you are and be willing to take an honest, hard look at that. And you must know truly where you want to go. If you can start with that, you have the foundation to really create a year that works for you. And you can start talking about living your legend, like being the best you across fitness, faith, family, finance, and fun. Like I look at life across 5 major areas, but the truth is you need to know where you are in fitness, where you are in faith, where you are in family, where you are in finance, and where you are in fun. And also, where do you want to go in each of those areas? And if you don't have any chance. Then you're just randomly trying stuff. And my life is precious. Every minute of my life matters. I'm just going to random A/B test shit in my life. That's not how I go.
But Coach, I just want to be happy.
Perfect. That's great. So here's the deal. If what you want out of 2023 is a feeling, there are a lot of substances that will give you a lot of different feelings. I mean, these days, we don't even have to limit it to just it's at the bottom of a bottle. It's at the bottom of the bottle, or an edible, or a pill, or a thing you put under your tongue, or like if you're chasing a feeling, you've already lost. Like, I just want to be happy. Okay, good, great. You know what the biggest source of unhappiness is things you want that are unaccomplished, the things that the work that needs doing in your life that's unaccomplished. That's what's tearing you to pieces, right? Period. And it's not about being happy. Happy is a state of mind. Happy is a starting point, not an end point. That's why so many people are chasing it and they're never going to get there. Doing hard work worth doing in your life, that will bring pure joy. But it's hard work.
So I think we need to say that again. So, doing the work is a theme, right? That we understand. A lot of times we set goals, but we don't achieve them. Or we set goals as a practice.
Let me be really clear. It's not doing the work. I love the work, right? And I have some friends who run a great program called The Work, and I fucking love them, and they're awesome. I'm not talking about the work. I'm talking about hard work worth doing. Those are 4 very, very specific words. Hard work worth doing in your life. There's a lot of hard work that's not worth doing. I don't want to do that ever again if I don't have to. But when it's worth doing, that's 90% of the people who've already fallen off of their targets, like for the year already, in just days, they're off. Why? Because it wasn't worth doing in the first place. They didn't really give a damn. They never really actually gave a damn about the thing. So why would they put any effort towards it? So find the hard work worth doing. That you're like, yeah, that is worth putting some shit on the line. That is worth sacrifice. So many times we try to make sacrifices and we don't care. We'd rather be fat. We'd rather eat the cookie because we don't really care. It's not really worth it to us. So find something that's worth it. Know where you are, know where you want to go, and make sure that where you're going is actually worth sacrifice and effort for you, or you'll never get there.
Geez, like so many different directions to go in from here. And one of them that comes to mind is like, who are you hanging around with? Because I think our environment also dictates, our support system. So if I want to get in shape and I want to lose the extra 25 pounds, but I'm hanging around with people that are watching TV, sitting on the couch and eating pizza, right there's a challenge, is just the environment that I'm currently in. What do you say to that?
Well, it's a chicken and egg thing, right? It's a chicken and egg thing. Obesity is contagious. Go look it up. It is. But so is fitness. What? Wait a second. Hold on. So it's contagious. It's a social disease. Like when you get someone who's super fat and they start hanging out with other people, you tend to get clumps of other super fat people around them. They give each other excuses. They give trust me, I'm someone who's obese. I'm not talking from a place of judgment. I'm talking from a place of fitness also is contagious. In our house, we are fit. We are fit. We run Ironman. We run marathons. My whole family just signed up for a marathon. May 6th, I think it is. We're going to be running a marathon. My daughter, I ran her very first race, with her when she was really young, 7 years old, ran a 5K. She now is going to college on a full scholarship, D1 scholarship for cross country. And she always had this target to run a marathon before she turned 18. So 2 days before, we're doing it as a family. We're fit, right? We have this in us. We move, right? But the thing is, people will say, well, yeah, who you hang around with? So I got to dump my friends, or just start going to the place where people do this stuff. You start hanging out at the gym, you'll start making new friends. The friends that you have in your life, right? You really look at it. Go look at the psychological studies of where friends come from. People think, well, we have stuff in common. We have, and it's not true. They've done tons of studies about here's where your friends come from. The only real thing that determines who your best friends are is, wait for it, proximity. Proximity. That is a predictor for who your friends are. Who are you around, right? You're on your 3rd busted marriage that you met the guy at the same bar. Go to a new bar, right? That proximity is not working for you. It just
go to a bar where people are still married.
Your picker is not broken. That's just a bad proximity for you. The people who are in that proximity aren't serving you. If you start going to the gym, guess what's going to happen? You're going to make new friends. And those friends are going to be more gym-minded. You start showing up at races, and you start seeing the same people at the races, and now you have new friends who run. And now what do you tend to do together? Oh, guess what? Run. So it's really chicken or egg thing. The thing is, what do you want? Go start moving that direction. Period. Get in those environments. And yeah, cool. If you have a friend who does that too, great. Talk to him.
So you talk about go ahead, Lorianne.
I was going to say, Ringo, one of the things that I love about having Coach Kevin on here is his simple advice.
Yeah.
You don't like the way things are? Like go find the place where you'll find it. Go hang out there.
No, I love it. And I love the energy that comes on. I think the best part about having Coach Kevin on is I get an hour where I get to chill. Like, I'm like, cool. Like someone else is bringing the energy. Like, yes. I just told Donnie, I was like, let's get ready. Let's get this done. We're going to knock this out quick. I was like, we know Coach Kevin's going to run the show anyway, so I'm just going to sit back and relax. But Coach, I want to get back on this. Number one, you talked about being specific. Okay, that is the one of a very common attribute we see in a lot of goal settings. But I want you to get a little deeper into this because I know the way that you go through this specifics. And I know that there are questions that are asked in it because we can say, okay, fine. Weight loss is a good way to bring up an example, or we can talk about even a financial example. But when we say, I want to make more money, why don't you go ahead? Help me understand that, right? So my goal is I want to make more money in 2023. Help me understand how that's not specific enough.
Well, I mean, more money. I mean, how much more than what? You want to make more money than the bum under the bridge? You're probably already there. Relax, have some Cheetos, right? Do you want to make more money than you've ever made before? Do you want to make more money than you made during the pandemic? Do you want to make more money than you have now? Like you can't go to more money because what will happen is the second you make $1, you have more, and your subconscious mind, everything that you are is going to be like, oh, we did it. We're done. Right. And so you get these yo-yo results, right? Because more, insert anything, more spirituality, more love, more happiness, more money, more fitness is a target that you're moving away from something. I want to move away from this amount of money to more. The problem with targets have you moving away from something is the second you take one step away, guess what? Well, you're away.
You're there.
Right. I'm going to go back to land navigation. If we start in Seattle, and I'm talking with Lorianne, I'm like, hey, let's go to Boston. All right, awesome. Let's figure this out. We go, turns out we went way off course. We end up somewhere in Canada. Cool, we still know we're going to Boston. So we course correct. Then it turns out we're in Florida. How the hell did we get in Florida? Doesn't matter. We know we're going to Boston. So we may not take a straight line, but we get there. If what I'm saying is, hey, let's go to not Seattle. Like I want something that's not where we are. Well, I mean, the second we step 10 feet out of Seattle, we're not there anymore. So is this the place, or do we really want to go somewhere else? Or I don't know. And then you end up in this squishy, weird, I don't know. And so you get yo-yo results because you're not sure of what you want. Now, that doesn't mean that on the way to Boston, me and Lorianne are like, you know what? Chicago's awesome. Let's stay here. Cool. We can do that. We can change on the way, but we'll never get anywhere by going not somewhere. And saying I want more is just lazy talk for I don't want to be where I am. Well, cool. Where do you want to be? Because if you don't know what you want, you already have it. Don't know where you want to go, you're already there. Like, look around. You don't know where you want to go? Cool, you're there. I mean, it's that simple. Like it seems so. We make it so complicated.
So how do we get it? How do we get into this? How do we understand how to break free of this? I'm an individual who's saying, okay, I get it. I don't want to I don't want to just not know where I'm going. I want to be specific. I want to know what I want in my life from an area of growth. How do we start the process of working through our own mind to be specific? We ask, what kind of questions do we ask? How do we approach that?
Perfect. Now, first off, I just want to tell you, I have an outcomes training that I'm going to give to anyone who's watching this. I'll give it to you for free. There'll be a link. I don't know where, but there'll be a link. You'll see it, click it. We'll get you this outcomes training that'll help you set outcomes. The first thing you have to do is not be general. And if I'm going to not be general, right, that means I can't just set targets for life. Now, notice I say targets, I say outcomes, right? I said, like, I'm not setting a goal. A goal for me, now I don't mind if you like the word goal, I love you. It's cool. We're not going to get in a fight over a word, right? But for me, a goal is something way off there that I'm aiming at. No, this is a target. If I miss, I'm going to shoot again until I hit the target, right? It's an outcome. Until it exists, I'm going to chase it, right? Either this is what's fantastic about Elon Musk, right? He's incredibly specific to the point of seeming absolutely crazy. What do you want to do? Colonize Mars. How are you going to do it? And then he's got ridiculously concrete plans to get there. Now, he may die before we get there, but that's not the point.
I don't know. Not this guy.
Well, I'm not going to bet against him, right?
Yeah, right. I want to launch a rocket and have it land back on a platform.
Hey, how many people watching this or are on this have launched their car to Mars, right? Like, not very many of us, but this guy has. Why? How did he even know how to where to launch his car? Because he specifically knows exactly where he's going. Now, that's going to have all sorts of turns and twists he didn't see coming. So the first thing is you want to get very specific. I break life down into 5 pieces. Okay, 5 pieces: fitness, faith, family, finance, and fun. Now, why fun? Because my type A's forget about fun. Fun's simple. You just do fun shit, right? You remember that if we don't enjoy it, what's the point of the rest of it, right? If I'm killing it in fitness, family, faith, and finance, and I don't like my life, I'm not winning. So fun just means loving what it is that we're creating, right? By getting specific, when I say, okay, what do I want in family? What do I want in fitness? What do I want in finance? Now I can really start to set traction and I can start to move across all of those areas. So I think that's very important first, is to kind of break life into its parts, right? Because we are physical animals, we are spiritual beings, we are also psychological beings, we are also social beings. And we want to honor all of those different pieces with us, right? And that's what we do with fitness. We're honoring the body, right? With faith, we're honoring the soul. With finance, we're typically honoring the mind in today's age. And with family, we're honoring that sociology. So we're looking at all the different parts of us and moving forward incrementally in each of those. And that's what's going to move the real needle in our life forward.
It's only 5 areas.
Go ahead.
Well, it's, I'm looking at this like it's only 5 different areas, and to make those decisions, because what comes to mind for me is, that Bible phrase, without a vision, the people will perish. And what I see, like one with the clients that come to work with me is that, it's like, what do you want? It's that I don't know, almost being afraid to make a choice. Either that comes down to a lack of self-trust or but like in the past, like I tried to set a target or a goal and I didn't do it. So there's that lack of self-integrity. Like I don't have the past experience to know that I can do it this time.
Most people are liars. If I say, what do you want? And you say, I don't know, you're a liar. Because with external things, okay, if you ask me, what does Rigo want? And I say, I don't know, that's probably true. Although I would have pretty
I don't know, Coach. I think you kind of know, but
guess on Rigo,
but that's
right?
not fair, right? That's a little.
I coach you, but the truth is, with anybody, I have a pretty good guess of coaching up people. Like I have some things, but the truth is, if someone asks you, what do you really want? And you say, I don't know, then that can't be true. The only being in the entire universe that knows is you, and you're you. So either you don't want to look, sometimes you don't have the words to express it, and that's fine. That still doesn't mean I don't know. I don't know how to express it, and I don't know are very different things, right? Or you just don't want to tell, or you feel like a loser, or you think people are going to laugh at you, right? Because Elon Musk is going to Mars, and my thing is to get down the street, and so I feel like I'm such a loser. The social media has poisoned us to think that if we're not the best out of 8 billion, we shouldn't exist. And so that stifles us. But if you're saying, I don't know, you're a liar. You do know what you want. When I always encourage people when they're setting their targets or outcomes for the year, be petty, be ugly. Like, don't say that you want world peace if what you really want is a nice new shiny motorbike out front of your house. Just chase the motorbike.
So you're saying like be selfish about these goals. Be selfish about them in a way, because I don't think the word selfish is a bad word. I actually think it is used really badly. Like I think being selfish is important. I think a lot of times we grow up learning not to be selfish.
So I think that self-serving is not selfish, and loving myself and serving myself is not necessarily selfish. I don't want to say like selfish is good. but you got to take care of yourself. Here's the fun part. If you look at psychology, to take care of yourself, you got to take care of your body and you got to take care of your relationships. And then you can really focus on yourself. So guess what? Your relationships and body are in the way of handling yourself. So what I want you to hear, it's not that it's selfish or not, which is a whole different conversation. It's that if what you really want is a shiny green sweater that everyone's going to hate, to say anything else is to be completely out of integrity with yourself and is to frustrate your ability to create it right from the start.
So, and then what happens is you probably start building this animosity towards the goal, towards the process, towards everything, because in truth, you're not even being honest with yourself in the process.
So just be honest. And look, the truth is, like, once you're petty with, like, here's what I really want. Like, I just really want this. Once you're petty like that, you'll start seeing why you want that thing, and you might find the deeper reason you want that thing. But it doesn't go the other way. If I pretend like I want world peace and I set up all my targets for world peace, I'm just going to hate everyone by the end, because I would love world peace.
To me, like, I don't know, that one always kills. Of course, like, why wouldn't we want world peace?
Of course, everyone wants that, but then what do I want for me inside of that?
Yeah, what do I really want? I'd like diesel to be under $2. Like, that would be great, because diesel's ridiculous, and I drive a diesel truck.
You could start working on that, right? If that specifically is the real thing. So here's the next piece of this, though. So once you've broken it down, now look, the 5 pieces are not arbitrary, because they really serve every portion of you. So fitness, faith, right? Doesn't necessarily mean church, but it could. If you're religious, that's awesome. If you're not, then it's just your relationship with yourself and the universe, the divine. Like, there's a divine element to human beings, and faith. I like how you say that. We're spiritual beings. Period. We're spiritual beings. It doesn't matter. And the truth is that's not an argument we're here to debate, right? If just go watch a baby be born and tell me we're not. Like, I've done that 4 times, and it just, every time you're like, whoa, this is like, there's us.
I agree.
There's the baby, and then there's something else, and that something else is in all of us, right? Like, it's cool. Like, it seeing that baby be born is a miracle, and then you got to remember, like, you were that baby. Like, there was a moment when you came into the world that was that, but it was you. So you are not any less or more divine than that baby.
Lorianne had brought something up here just a minute ago, and it was in regards of, like, when you find yourself failing these areas. We, in December of last year, we interviewed an incredible author and speaker. His name is Craig Stanlin, who had come from a place of status, got arrested, lost everything, spent years in prison, got out and rebuilt himself. And one of the things he said in the interview that stuck with me powerfully, and I think this is something you're going to be in alignment with, was that we first have to understand, like, there's this place where we stop believing in ourselves, because we don't even trust ourselves anymore, because we can't stay consistent to our own promises. Right? So we start, like, we keep breaking our own promises. And so we don't even trust ourselves anymore. And so, Lorianne, you were saying something just a few minutes ago, like, what happens when you get into this goal setting, and in the back of your mind, you already know, I'm just going to fail this. Like, I fail every single outcome.
Yeah. So that's because you're a liar. I mean, again, that's because you're a liar. Here's the deal. Intensity is awesome. We feel great about intensity. I ask so many people in this season of the year, how much money do you want to make this year, right? The number of people who have no business saying this that are going to say $1 billion because it feels really good. And they're, they know we're at a seminar, so we have to go, I don't want to limit myself. And so, okay, man, when's the last time you made 10,000? Never. You're not making $1 billion. Like, if you haven't made 10,000, you're not making $1 billion. If you haven't made 10,000, how about start at 1,000? Have you ever made 1,000? Yes, cool. So can you make 1,000 over and over? What we need to understand is intensity makes us feel good as we're setting our outcomes targets, right? But the problem is when we set up an intensity that's way beyond our ability to be consistent, we are going to fail. Like, sometimes when you feel like I'm just going to fail, you're right. So say, okay, what is my level of consistency? What do I know I can consistently do? Then how can I step forward? Now, I may want to make $1 billion, but I'm probably not going to do that this year. So, hey, 10,000. Can I make 10,000 a month? Can I turn 10,000 a month into 20? Can I go from 20 to 40? Because we'll get, better. Can I go from 40 to 100? Can I go from 100 to 200? Right now, what we want to do is build consistency before intensity. So if the first race you've ever run in your whole life is a marathon, right, you're going to have some problems. And I know this because I got really excited about triathlon. And the first triathlon I ever signed up for was an Ironman triathlon. I mean, I saw it on TV, right? Like, it's an hour long. It's really inspiring. All these people finish, right? Except for in real life, it's a lot longer than an hour. Like, they don't show the whole race. And it's months of training. And I had so much burnout and I had so much negative emotion because I'd never even done small races. And one of my buddies is like, dude, why don't you just do a small race to warm up? I didn't even know that was a thing. I was like, oh, cool. So I did a sprint. I was really good at the sprint. I even placed in my age group. Then I did, after the sprint, I did a longer sprint. Then I did an Olympic length race. Then I did the half iron. It's like, okay, I can do this, right? So set yourself up to be consistent. And then once you're consistent, add intensity, right? So if I'm consistently producing 1,000, awesome. Now I want to try to consistently produce 2,000. I don't want to produce 10,000 one day and then nothing for 10 months. I want consistency. And that's how you build. That's how you start to trust yourself. I have 10 promises I keep to myself every day. I've done this for 8 years. That's a lot of promises. It's 3,650 times 8. I don't know the number, but about 24,000 promises I've kept to myself. And I mark it and I keep track of it. That's why I have an app. I have a tracking app that helps me track my life. Why? So I know, am I being true to myself or not? Am I doing the things that put me into power and produce the life I want or not? And I keep score. Like I do. A lot of people set financial targets because they keep score. A lot of people like weight targets because it's a number. You can put numbers to everything. If you're not, don't lie. Move forward.
I love this. So be specific's got a lot.
Well, but it's more than be specific. So once you've broken it down, so just to take like the next step, right? Because I know we're in a limited time and I always try to pack 10 hours of stuff in 40 minutes. Once you are specific about fitness, faith, family, finance, and fun, what you should ask yourself, or not should, but what I like to do is ask myself, okay, what do I want to change? Right? Like what must change? Like, what do I want to change inside of fitness? And I really journal that. Like, hey, what must change? Now, this is new for me, and this is what a lot of people miss. They focus all on what must change. Also, though, I'm going to spend some time journaling on what do I want to keep? What must not change? Like, I don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. I don't want to change because I want this new thing and then lose all the great stuff that's already happening. I want to set up a left and right limit. Here are the changes I want to make, but here are the things I definitely want to keep. Like, I want to make twice the money, but I don't want to lose my relationship with my family in the process, right? And a lot of people, when they set these big targets, they don't fully consider the cost, right? The Bible talks about this. Did you count the cost? Right. So I want to do this while keeping that. So, hey, what do I want to change? What do I want to keep? And then once you have that laid out, you can really start down the path of, okay, well, over the next 90 days or so, what is it? I like to set targets for the year, and then I break them down and I set targets for each 90-day section after that. Why 90 days? It's a season. Forever, since humans have existed, we've had seasons of life, right? We plant in the spring, we tend in the summer, we harvest in the fall, and we survive the winter. And we've done that for, however many thousands of generations. So it's in our DNA. You see so many 90-day challenges, 100-day challenges. Well, of course, it's a season of life. There are seasons in life. And so I just run my life seasonally.
And I personally like breaking them down into, just like you said, seasons, because a year seems like so much. It seems so far away to start to reevaluate stuff, but to break them down into okay, here's what I would have to accomplish in this first season and then the next season and the next season, so that hopefully I'm exactly where I want to be by the end of the year. But the other thing
I'll tell you about my triathlon, that first triathlon, right? It was a very strange race, the long one. It was an Ironman 70.3. So the swim on this one was 1.2 miles. And I was swimming 2 miles. Like, I would swim 2 miles to train. But this was a very peculiar race, and you almost never see this. They had a lake, and you would start on one side of the lake, and you went straight across 1.2 miles to the other side of the lake. I had never seen on water how far that was. I remember coming to the dock and telling my wife, I can't swim that far. I can't do it. She's like, what are you talking about? You've been training, you're swimming 2 miles. I'm like, yeah, but it doesn't look like that. I can't do that. And it was real humbling. Like, here we are. I've been training for months and months and months, and I'm convinced that I don't know that I can swim that far. Seeing it laid out in a straight line. And then I realized, I don't really have to swim that far because look, there's like 5 buoys. Can I swim to that buoy? Yeah. Can I swim the distance between the 2 buoys? Yeah. Okay, so let me just get to the first buoy, see what happens. And that's for most of our outcomes. We set who you want to be at the end of the year, and then set buoys at the quarters at like March, like 3 months buoy, 3 months buoy, 3 months buoy. It gets so much simpler. We can chunk it down because the cool thing is the growth that you experience in the first quarter comes with you. So you're actually a better, more powerful, more consistent person in the second quarter of the year. So your growth isn't like this. Isn't straight, but it kind of comes like that. And as you grow, you can do more. So you really pick up some momentum and speed through that.
Oh, I like that. And I've used that during some of the races or when I've been training also. Just like I live in a hilly area. I happen to like to do hills just because I think it's an efficient workout. And yeah, it's like just run to the next phone pole, That's it. Oh, that one was easy. How about the next one? It just breaks the big goal down into smaller chunks, just like you've been sharing with us. I love this.
It's like we talked about Elon Musk, so I'll keep it. Going to Mars is crazy, but it starts with like, do we have a rocket company? Like, can we build a rocket? And then can we launch a rocket, which, wasn't as easy as they thought. And then can we land a rocket? And
I think it's crazy. We can look at it now thinking it's easy, but it was a crazy concept for those of us who grew up with NASA being very present, right? We all grew up with like NASA was NASA, man. We used to watch the stuff on, in class. And so to think that this would be in a private sector to me, like, is nuts. And so all this is showing us is when you are specific about goal setting targets, because I really do believe there's a difference. And I like the terminology in the word. When you're setting a target, your outcome is to hit the target and you make adjustments until you hit the target. So we just did this with our team.
Key piece. Another reason that the word target is so, and I'm going to give Matthew McConaughey credit for this because he wrote it in his book. I'll probably never watch this, and that's fine. But I wanted to hate that book. Like, I did not want to like Matthew McConaughey. Just because of his rom-com. Like, I don't know Matthew McConaughey, but just because of his, I was like, come on, man, I'm not going to fall in love with this guy. By the end of it, I think I would probably date him. Like, honestly, Green Light's amazing book. By the end of it, I'm like, yeah, I would date Matthew McConaughey. That's fine. Not my type, but whatever. It'll be a great ride. He said something that I thought was super profound in his book, Green Lights, which is targets attract arrows. Right? Arrows don't find targets. Targets attract arrows. So when I have a target, this is something worth doing. We tend to think of ourselves so often as the arrow. And I'm gonna get shot out by this magical bow and I have to find the target. That's not how it works. You're not, no, the target is you, and you're also the guy pulling the bow back. And you're saying me today is gonna be that guy over there. The arrow just follows a straight line. It just goes straight. Like you're not a heat-seeking missile trying to figure out who you are in the meantime. Set up a target. And if you really want that thing and it really matters to you, the arrows will find its. The arrow will find its way there. Mm-hmm. Like nothing happens because like, oh, I have to be this. Yeah. If you don't care, you won't be that, right? We like to look at people like David Goggins and say, well, he just decided and then that was it. Well, yeah, he decided, but he really wanted this thing. I mean, anybody's going to run like 100 miles in a day, because he really wanted to prove to do it. He wanted that above any other amount of pain. The target is what drug him to it. He didn't just set out and be like, well, let me figure it out. No, just whatever I have to do, I will hit this target, right? And so targets attract arrows. Arrows don't find targets.
I love that. That's a great analogy. And I got mixed reviews when I put on Facebook about like, hey, has anybody read, his book, Green Lights? And just hearing you speak about it, I got to go pick it up.
I loved it. I didn't want to like it. I mean, I didn't, because I thought it'd be some admission that I was falling in love with my rom-com, but man, whatever. It was great. I would have
So as we keep going down this process, being specific, understanding what we want to change, what we want to keep, knowing that there has to be consistency first in this process of reaching these targets, in hitting the outcomes we want before we can start to bring intensity. What becomes now the next step in this process?
So the next step is to say, okay, well, if this happens, so let's say in fitness, you want to gain 20 pounds of muscle, right? Or in finance, I want to double my income, or in family, I want to see my kids twice as much as I am right now, whatever the target is, right? I want you to think about, well, if this happened, if all the stuff I wanted to changed, and all the stuff that I want to keep, I kept, then who would I be? What would I have done? And what would I have? So be, do, have. Like, just take be, do, have. Who am I? What do I have? And what have I done? And, just kind of think about it. If this had happened, what would you have done? And if this really happened, then what would you have been? Now, you can kind of play this game, guys. So don't get hung up on what category it is. Like, I would have made $1 million. I would have $1 million. I would be a guy who made $1 million. You can put anything into any one, but different people for different things will have their preference. That's fine. But go down, be, do, have. Force yourself to give 5 at least of each. 5 things that you would be, 5 things you'd have done, and 5 things that you would have if you made this change. And you're going to see, wow, that's cool, right? And then from there, the next step really is to create some I am statements of like, who is the person that you could become? Because that's what we're really talking about. You're the target. You're not the arrow. You're the guy shooting you today to the person you want to be at the other side. Who would I have to be? I am what in order to have, do, and be these things.
Okay, let's stop for a second. That, I think, is incredibly important to hear again. In all the times that we have worked together, it's never sounded more clear than right now. You are the target. I am the target. And that makes so much sense. In any of these goals or targets or anything we're setting that we want to achieve or reach in any period of time, really to stop and think. And I see why there's so much in the process of asking ourselves these questions, asking ourselves, be, do, have, understanding what is it that we want to keep and change. Because the reality is, it is us today, like you said, shooting to us tomorrow.
Let me tell you why being petty works and why you are the target always, right? I coached a billionaire. This is a fantastic man. If you ever get a chance to talk to him, you'll love it. Your life will be better. His name is John Sharondo. John grew up super poor in the Bronx, I believe. And if I'm saying the wrong borough, I'm sorry, John. I know I get confused in New York, so nobody hate me. But I'm pretty sure the Bronx or Brooklyn. He grew up really, really poor. And he grew up across from a repossession lot. So in a certain year, him and his brother are like wondering if they're going to eat. And they're watching every nice car in the world be towed to this lot right across the street, right? So as he made it big, as he started to have a lot of money, at some point in time in his whole life, he owned every car that was manufactured that year. Like he started setting targets. I'm going to get this car. I'm going to get this car. I'm going to get this. And then he had the target. I'm going to own all the cars. Now, you can say, man, that's shallow. It's about cars. But it was never about the cars. It was about him honoring that little boy who wondered if he'd ever have enough food to eat by saying, no, not only that, we owned all the cars in that lot. Now he sold them all. He doesn't keep them. He's a really cool guy who can get $1 million car. And literally, if it caught fire and was gone that second, he'd be okay with it because he's always excited about the man who bought it, not really the car. The car is just a trophy, right? But notice how buying every car manufactured in the year that he was starving and watching cars come into a repo lot, is that about cars and stuff? No, that is about honoring him. That is about himself. He's about the man who went from wondering if he could eat while he looked at these cars to having owned every single one of them and then moving on. And he helps so many people around the world in so many ways. Every target you set is you, right? It's you. You are your life. You want a target for your life, but then that's about you. You want a baby? Yeah, sure, great. You get a baby, but that's you. Then now you're a mother, or now you're a father, right? That we are always the target.
We are always, and
that's why I get so angry when people are not specific, because they're being vague and non-committal about their life, about the very thing that they are. Like, take a stand. You only get one. It's far better to be wrong and to get 60 years old and be like, damn, I missed it. Far better than to just die a mediocre life in generalities and never really taking a stand and never really trying because, quote unquote, I don't know.
And I think this has a lot to do with the vocabulary difference too. I mean, it makes more sense when you're seeing yourself as a target versus seeing a goal, because the goal, it's easy for a goal to be disattached to you emotionally and to the reasons to why these things matter. And I think that's powerful. Coach, talk about again, you have this tool that you'll be offering. Is that right?
Yes, I have something called Legendary Outcomes Training. We've never given this away before. We'll do this here for you guys. It will walk you through a process. It's about an hour of training. It's broken up into pieces, but it will walk you through a process to set targets across fitness, faith, family, finance, fun. It'll teach you the importance of data points and understanding like what matters to you, how do I track it, and it'll have you lit up for you and for the rest of this year. So guys, thank you so much for having me. That's
powerful. Awesome. Thank you, Coach, for being here. We'll let you go. For those of you guys who enjoyed the program, please let us know. Let us know in your comments. Talk to us if you want to get this free giveaway that we've got here from Coach Kevin. Lorianne and I both are always excited to have Kevin here. But more importantly, there is a lot of work that comes in these tools. There's a lot of guidance that'll help you get to the outcomes you're looking to achieve as we start this new year. Lorianne, I know that both you and I have been pumped about what we're bringing into the new year, what we're going to be doing in terms of offers, what we're going to be doing in terms of guests. But we really want you guys to understand, like, we need to hear from you, right, Lorianne? I mean, we want to hear from you. How is this content affecting? Are you getting value from it?
Yes. I love hearing from my audience. And just know that when you reach out to me, it is me who is actually going to be responding to you, not some hired staff, not some robot. It is me who is going to actually answer back to you. So I would love to know, feel free to send me a message in LinkedIn or over on Instagram. I would love to know, what are your thoughts? And what is a topic that you really are dying to learn more about? Yeah. Because I will find the perfect guest for that.
Yeah, absolutely. We want to thank our guest again, Coach Kevin, for being here today. And you guys, I'm excited about this new year. Let us know what your thoughts are on what outcomes you're looking to achieve. Again, we'll have the link here available for you to access this free content from Coach Kevin. I would highly advise that you guys take advantage of it. Please, please, please take it, read it, look at it, watch the video. It'll help, I promise you. Also, please do us a favor, follow our pages. Really, really simple. When you want to go into this process, you just go to our page, you go click follow, and it's that simple. Here, I'll show you here how simple this is. There's me and my producer fighting the buttons at the same time. It's not going to go to, there it is right there. Real easy. Go to the page. You go to more. You click follow. It's simple on both Lorianne and my page. We want to see you. We want to offer more content like this, and we want you guys to follow our page. We'll also have the link, like I said, to Coach Kevin's stuff. So you guys, thank you so much for being here. An amazing 2023 is on the way.
That's right.
Like, it's ours. We own it. It's just, how bad do we want it? And I love that. I think, but it's time to be specific, Lorianne, right? It's time to be specific. What do we want to change, and what is it that we want to keep? Again, powerful stuff.
Stop lying to yourself.
Yeah, I love that. You're a liar. That's it. He's so awesome. I love Coach Kevin. Hey, you guys, thank you so much for being here. We are so blessed to have you as guests, as followers, as haters. I don't care. It doesn't matter, but I'm just glad that you're here. Let us know how we're doing. Please leave stuff in the comments. We will talk to you next week live, as always, right here. God bless you guys, and we'll see you next week.